everyone, and welcome back to my studio, the Pottery Corner down on the south coast of England near Chichester. Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Amos. Today we're going to do another glaze kiln fire opening. What's in the kiln today? Do you know, I pack these kilns and then about 4 days later when it's finished its firing and I'm ready to do this video, I completely forget what I've packed in the kiln. Sneakiest of sneaky peeks on the top shelf, obviously, because that really goes without saying. So there is Janet's refired spring plaque, which came out of the last firing, and she's added a bit more glaze, and it does look terrific. That's on the top shelf. Actually, quite a lot of this firing is my own work, which is unusual as the students are back. And as you can see, I've got another bisque firing that's got to go almost straight in the kiln back to back. And at the moment it's September, so we've still got some bright sunny days, so we're using the solar as much as possible. Before I go on, I'd just like to say another thanks to you all for sending your condolences after the death of Queen Elizabeth II. You really are really sweet to send me a little message to say that you're sorry and that you're thinking of us all. So her funeral was actually yesterday, so as I'm filming, the funeral was yesterday. And on the end of this video, I'll just put a little bit of footage that I recorded from the television in case you haven't seen it. So just a couple of snippets just to give you a flavour. I have to say it was an absolutely magnificent full state funeral with the military from all over the world, Commonwealth nations. We had Mounties from Canada, we had the Australian troops, so lots and lots and lots of people were involved from right around the world, and obviously the state leaders of countries and Mr. Biden and the First Lady, President Biden and the First Lady were here, and heads of state from all around the world, so it really was quite a thing to see. So moving on now to our glaze kiln fire opening. So let's lift the lid and see what we've got. Right, so on this first layer, as I said, this is Janet's refired spring plaque for her window project that she's doing. I'll slip up next to this the original glazed fired piece, and we were talking about this top section here on the previous video, and I knew that how did I know? I knew that Janet would be disappointed with that, so she has added some more glaze. Now, interestingly, she's put Amaco's Rainforest and Mayco's Meadow. So Mayco's Meadow is the one that has glass in it. I think it's a Jungle Gems or a crystal. I'll put it on the screen just so that you can see it. But hasn't that made an enormous difference? Real difference, and it really looks like tree canopy foliage. I think that's terrific. So it was well worth refiring. She's added a little bit more underglaze to the centres of the flowers as well, just to really make them stand out. And that is now a really beautiful plaque depicting spring. So well done, Janet. As I say, sometimes if you're not happy with how it comes out the first time, it really is worth popping a little bit more glaze on and seeing what happens, because you haven't lost anything. Next out of here is I decided that I'd throw some plates. Which isn't something that I tend to do terribly often. So I did throw this plate, which I have glazed with Mayco sea salt, which is a matte sort of cream with flecks in it, which I really like. It's a lovely glaze. And then I've used my hundreds and thousands confetti glaze just sprinkled over the middle. But as I say, every time you use that hundreds and thousands confetti glaze, you never know what you're going to get. So an interesting combination, and there is a little bit, I've noticed, of palladium on there. So I probably won't use this for food or for wet food. I'm sure I could use it for dry bits. But interestingly, this I have thrown on the wheel myself. So I've pulled it out and thrown it in from a ball of clay. And the the sort of base part of the plate has warped a little bit. Now, I saw on Instagram the other day, we're slightly going off subject here, so just let me just wander for a minute. Somebody throwing plates from slabs. So I'm going to do a little demo of that in a future video. But this plate started life as a slab and then ended up as a thrown plate. And I've used my Hartley & Noble bat, left it to dry on the bat for a couple of days and then just popped it off the bat. I have turned the back of this, but it comes out really lovely and flat, and I don't think we're going to get the same problem with warping because I haven't had to wire that off of the bat like I did with this one, and it has very slightly bowed across the top. I don't think you can probably pick that up, but believe me, it's got a slight dome on it. I mean, it doesn't make it unusable, but I would prefer there not to be a dome there. So that's me playing around with throwing plates, and we'll see whether I actually manage to make one that somebody other than a small child could eat off of. But, you know, we're getting there, we're getting there. It's all process, it's all learning, still learning. Last thing on this shelf is just a little pinched pot that Kathy made with fluted edge. Again, she was trying out the Amaco Oatmeal on this craft crank clay. So this is a different coloured clay to the white stoneware that we use. And again, she's just pinched a little bowl just to try the glaze. So that's always a really good idea if you're then making a larger project like the acorns that are behind me. These are Kathy's acorns, so that she could see what the glaze was before she went ahead and used it. Right, I'm going to get this shelf out. Okay, so the next bit's on here. This is the last of Willow and Yoga's basket bases. This one is Nikki's. Now, she's used the fern stamp, so we have a textured stamp. So she stamped that into the slab. And then she used Amaco's Storm and wiped it back. So we've put glaze into the texture and then wiped it back, leaving it just in the texture and not on the surface. And then the green glaze, which is actually really very pretty, is Amaco Wasabi. So that's a really lovely basket base, and I know that Nikki will be pleased with that. So that's the last of those now through. There is quite a pile up here now, so hopefully we'll get to the end of that project. And again, as I say, I will share the collaboration with you so that you can see them from the pottery side to the willow finished side. Right, next thing. This again is one of Janet's. So this one is fire. This shows a volcano. I mean, there's no end to Janet's imagination. So this is the lava flowing from the volcano. Now on here, she's used quite a lot of bits and pieces. This looks like Amaco's obsidian on the background, which is black. She's used underglaze to show the flowing lava. And then she's gone over the top of the underglaze with a clear glaze, which is what has made this sort of shadow effect. She's also used some glass on the surface. I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up, but there's sort of bits of blobs of glass on it. And again, she's used a little bit of glass up the top here, showing the sparks of the lava coming up. So yes, as I say, when we get this one finished, it's going to be really interesting to see all the panels actually fitted in the window. So I think there's one more that Janet is currently waiting to be biscuit fired, and then I think we've got a whole set. So as I say, I will share that with you when that is finished. Right, next level, would you believe, is all mine. Woo! A whole shelf in my kiln for my work, amazing. Right, so I've been throwing some mugs. This is one of my favourites. Combinations of glaze. I'm just going to watch the bottom because I've taken that cookie off and there's a couple of sharp pieces, so I'm just going to watch the bottom on there. This I have several mugs like this upstairs, and every time I have a studio opening or an art trail or something, people always want to buy them, and they're the ones I use for the students. So I thought, well, I'll make some so that next time they come they can buy some. So this glaze combination, which I love, is Amaco's Snow on the inside, Amaco's Cobalt, Celadon Glaze Cobalt. Now, the snow has come down to about here, the cobalt has gone up to about here, and there was only a band in the middle that was unglazed of about 1 centimetre in the middle. And then I have put the Amaco Seaweed overlapping the snow and overlapping the cobalt. So the only piece that is just seaweed on its own is this sort of different colour green in the middle. And I love that combination. And as I say, I use it a lot. I mean, that is just a beautiful combination. So do try that one. It's really nice. And I carry the colours up the handle in the same stripe. So that's a really lovely mug. That's not going to hang around. Somebody's going to snap that one up. Right, next. Again, I saw another combination. Oh, that's interesting. Woohoo! Lovely. So again, throne mug. This combination is, and this is really interesting. So I thought I'd try it. I saw it on Instagram. I thought, oh, that looks nice. So on the bottom is Amaco's Deep Sea. On the rim and the first centimetre is Ancient Copper, and in the middle is Amaco's Seaweed, and inside it is Amaco's Deep Sea. So that's really interesting. So the centimetre inside and outside of the Ancient Copper, I did actually only do 2 layers, so it hasn't gone terribly coppery, but I love the drippage. Very nice. Lovely mug. And I have stopped the glaze here and left an unglazed foot, because I was worried that it was going to drip right the way down, which actually it practically nearly did. This is quite drippy down here, but lovely, like that. Do you like that? Let me know. Comments, tell me, do we like this glaze combination? There is actually another one in here, the same. So we'll see how that one did. Okay. Oh, and again, that one's lovely too. So there you are. I think next time I won't take the copper so far down on the inside. I'm not sure that I'm liking the dripping inside, but I really like the dripping outside. But actually, that is a lovely mug. Really nice. So that's Amaco's Deep Sea, Amaco's Seaweed, and Amaco's Ancient Copper on the top. And again, I've striped the handle in the same colour combination. I was quite heavy on the Seaweed, which is why it's done this beautiful drag. Really nice, like that. I shall be using that combination again. This one is, oh yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so I tried the Ceramica transfer, and I put some letters on. As you can see, it says Coffee Addict. Quite like that. So there's a sheet with just sort of looks like typewritten letters, so you can cut them out and use them. Quite like that, Coffee Addict. So on the inside of this mug is the Amaco Celebrations Baby Blue, which is actually a really nice glaze. And then on the outside, I've used Jessica Putnam-Phillips's Chun Blue. And again, I love that glaze, really nice. I was saying on the last video that I don't think she's doing it in brush on anymore. But that will be one that I definitely do buy in a dipping glaze. So that's really nice. And that's a lovely little mug. Be nice to use it in an office because it's got that sort of typewritten office feel to it. So yes, very nice. Happy with that one. These two, again, I'm not going to say too much about. I keep saying this to you, don't I? Tease, I'm such a tease. That one is Mayco's Night Moth on the inside. That's a Ceramica transfer of an astronaut on the outside. This one says One Small Step for Man. And then there is another one of those, the same combination. I do hope that cookie's not stuck on there. I'll give it a tap. It'll, oh, there you are, it's come off. That's why I use them, just in case. And this one, I shall not tell you what it says on it, but this is the other one that we were doing on the, there was a chill out video a few weeks ago. So that is that through, same combination. So this is Amaco's Smoke on the outside and Mayco's Night Moth on the inside. I really like that combination. Lovely, lovely. A couple of large throne bowls that I was working on. And let's see what we think of that. Ooh. Okay, all right then. So this is a new glaze to me, and I always say to you, test tiles, test tiles. Did I do a test tile? No, I didn't. This is, I was having trouble getting hold of Amaco's Obsidian, which is my preferred black. So I bought some Bots Onyx Black, and that is what that is on the outside. Bit patchy, bit patchy. That needs another coat for me. So, you know, if I had done a test tile, I would have known that before I put it on my piece. Hey ho. I've just used a little bit of Amaco's Glacier just on the foot ring, just so that it's glazed, as it's quite a big one. Yeah, I need to do some more painting on there. As you can see, it's just a little bit patchy here. But the actual sort of depth of it's not too bad, but I definitely need another coat. And interestingly, on the inside, I love this. This is really interesting, which is, believe it or not, because you can't actually see it at all, Amaco's Deep Sea underneath with Amaco's seaweed on the top. So the seaweed went down to about here on the bowl. I've actually painted the seaweed from the top down to about here. So what's that, about sort of halfway down the bowl? It has actually flowed right the way over the top of that deep sea, but I don't dislike it. It's actually a lovely green, and it's got a lovely surface sort of speckle on it, which I hope you can pick up from the lights. So yeah, that's a lovely bowl. Really nice. Very pleased with that. But I shall be putting another coat of Bots Onyx Black on the back. Right, next shelf. So we've got a veritable village in the bottom of the kiln, because all of the cast houses that I've made so far for Christmas are in the bottom of this kiln. It just looks like a little village sat in the bottom of the kiln. So I have 3 house moulds upstairs that I've made with plaster. There is a video on the channel about casting plaster mould, so have a look at that. I'll stick it up as a card. So these are what comes out, and then I decorate them individually by cutting out with cutters and what have you. Little houses, really pretty. A votive candle or a little tea light candle underneath, and they'll light up for Christmas. Ostensibly I've made them for my sister, but as there's a little village in there, I expect some of them may find their way to other people. But she requested them last Christmas. It's only taken me, 18 months to get round to doing it. On some of them, like this one, I have used my clay slip pastels and a stencil to put some brickwork on in different colours. So this one is black. The monoprinting video will tell you how to make your slip pastels, and they're really useful for just little detail. So I've just put a little bit of detail on that one. As I say, it's quite a little village to come out, so I'll not spend much time showing them to you. This one's got a little bit of blue brickwork on it. Quite a nice project to do. This one's got a little bit of yellow on it. Not too much. I didn't want to colour them too much. And I mean, it depends whether you want to put the coloured side showing or not. Up to you when you're displaying them. This one's got sort of brickwork colour on it. That one's quite nice. Sweet. I like that colour. As you can see, they're different sizes, and they've all got different patterns, because I forget what pattern I've done on the one previously. It's quite good fun, actually. It's quite nice to chill out and just play with the little houses. They're lovely. Cute. That one's got a little crack in it, so that one might stay with me, or it might go to my sister. She could always use it the other way around. That one again's got the brown on it. That one's sweet. It's got a little bit of blue. Pretty. Lovely. So those are really nice, and they'll make a nice little set to go on the mantelpiece. So that's what they're for. And the last thing that's in this kiln is the big bowl that I was working on the chill out video, where we did sort of vinyl stencils and slip carving, etc. So this is lovely. Right, now I've got to remember the glaze. So on the inside, this is slip, my own studio slip. And again, so I keep repeating myself, there is a video on how to make slip on the channel. So yeah, nice, quite like this. This is quite pretty. These stencils come from my friend Karen's Etsy shop. I'll put a little thingy so that you can find that. They're really good, really useful. And then the glaze on the back is Amaco's Sapphire Float. And that will be 3 good coats of that glaze on the back. Yeah, nice. Very nice. I like that. That's come out well. It's a nice bowl, usable bowl. You could use it for pasta. You know, you could use it as a serving bowl. Really nice. Very nice indeed. Like that one. Okay, so that's me done. As I say, quite a lot of my things in the kiln, so that makes a change. Couple of shout outs to lovely people who have sent me messages over the last week or so. This one has come from Joan. I'm going to say your name wrong, Joan. Joan Cloutier. Is that right? Might be. She comes from Bristol in Connecticut in the States. I liked this. This was lovely. It's really kind when you send me these lovely messages. So she says, I absolutely love your poppy head sculptures and have watched the full tutorial several times while now making 8. So she's made 8. Well done, Joan. So she's at the stage of adding the oxides, which is so far her favourite part. And she's going to use copper oxide and iron oxide. So her friend has given her some frit to use, and she said, I learned something from every one of your videos and now call my banding wheel a twirler, like that. I also love that you created Pottery Lexicon, taking a sneaky peek. I wonder how far that phrase is now being used around the world. Yes, it'd be very interesting to know, actually. I'm sure lots of people use it. She says, this I like this bit, pictures to follow if they are successful, comma. Actually, I'll send pictures regardless. So, Joan, that made me laugh. Thank you for sending that. It's really kind of you to take time to send that to me. And the other one this week I've had from, and here's another name for me to try and get through. So it's Richard. I can't even pronounce it. I'm going to put it on the screen because I really don't want to offend him. Who is in Tennessee, in the States. And he also said, sent his condolences about the Queen. So thank you, Richard. That was really kind of you. So he said he's very much enjoyed using the Wonky Pot template. And again, Wonky Pot template is available via the Etsy shop. And here are photos of my recent creations fresh out of the kiln. Extra wonky and beautiful. I love that. Well done. So the first is a fall theme pot with pine cone sprigs. So the pine cones are done in copper oxide, wiped back and left unglazed. And then the pot is glazed in Mayco root beer with Amaco seaweed around the rim. And this is I'm sorry, the largest picture I could get. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Lovely. And that looks to me like an African violet in there. Yeah, lovely. Really like that. And then the other one is Halloween themed. This is great. Look at this. With ghosts applied. I think that's just terrific. And I love the inside. He's used a bright green on the inside. Really nice. And the thing that really tickled me, and this just shows the personality of the potter, is his signature on the bottom. Look at that. Little ghost with his initials in. I love that. I think that's it's just that little nod to individuality. So thank you, Richard, for sending me those. It's always really lovely to receive your messages and your photos of your pieces from the very many tutorials. In fact, I counted the videos the other day. There's now over 90 videos on the channel for you to sort of use as an archive. I will say that the first ones at the beginning when I first started are quite interesting to watch. Obviously, I've got better well, hopefully I've got better at the filming and the editing from the early days. So thank you as always for watching. I really do appreciate you taking the time to chill out with me with clay, and I shall see you all on the next one. Bye for now.
Contingent of those who've been recipients of the George Cross and Victoria Cross, and representatives of the Armed Forces of Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and other Commonwealth countries. Gun carriage, passing the gates of New Palace Yard and the Palace of Westminster and the Houses of Parliament, where of course Her Majesty attended on so many occasions for the state opening of Parliament. And all of this happening under the steady gaze of Sir Winston Churchill.